Hi, I have not been posting for the past couple of days. I've just had to take a break, but now I'm back. So today I want to talk a little bit about something a little complicated. It is about it is a simple concept, but it often becomes complicated on when it comes to application. It is doing the right thing. Now that is what we all want to do in any situation, right? No one actually wants to go out and do the wrong thing, what they think is wrong. um, so we are always encouraged to do the right thing, but oftentimes it can be difficult to understand what the right thing is, um, because all we can do in a situation is what we think is the right thing, what feels like the right thing, and what you think would result in, I don't know, the most net benefit. I guess that's just one way of morally philosophizing it. I guess there are many different ways to approach a situation, whether you do the right thing based on purely based on the outcome, or you do the right thing based on what affects the least amount of people negatively. There are many different ways to go about it, but let's not get into that. What I'm trying to talk about is just everyday things. When you want to have an maybe an uncomfortable conversation to you, but you don't know how the the person or people you're willing to talk to or you are wanting to talk to will respond to that, and whether it will affect your current situation or relationship with them, or if doing that would affect a third person who's not involved in this conversation. There are many different factors to consider in when you're trying to have a difficult conversation, right? So what can be the right thing there? It is it can be pretty difficult to decide, but let's say you do settle on a solution where you're gonna have that conversation, whatever it is. I'm just giving a random example, but you can put in whatever situation you're in. um, yeah, so let's say you do pick a thing that you think is the right thing to do, and you end up doing that, and it ends up not being the right thing. It ends up in an outcome that you did not expect at all, or in a really bad outcome that you were actually trying to avoid, and that was the reason you were having the conversation in the first place. So that can put you in a really weird spot. Now when that happens, what exactly are you supposed to do? Are you just supposed to um, do the opposite thing the next time, or is it just the thing was the right thing but the situation was wrong, so in this very specific context it was not the right thing? So what I'm trying to ask is, trying to do the right thing and doing the wrong thing instead, what exactly how exactly should that change the way you make decisions in the future? Do you just lose your ability to judge whether should you start questioning your ability to judge whether you know what the right thing is, or do you just assess this specific situation and try to learn from it and make better decisions next time? Because that can really throw you off. Now in for me, what has worked the best is to just this is just works for me. I'm not sure what situation you are in, who is watching. um, it is to give I often tend to get a bit anxious when it comes to important conversations or decisions to make, and I my mind starts racing, and it's just it just keeps me in a very anxious state where I'm often not equipped to make good decisions. So what I've been trying to do is give some space to the situation, and and a space to myself so that I calm down a little bit and where I'm in the right mental space to even see whether the decision I'm going to take is going to lead to the outcome that I want, and why I'm taking this decision in the first place. Because often when you're in this anxious state where you're not sure what the right thing to do is, uh, we often try to make decisions that would bring back comfort to us, that would bring back the status quo that we are trying to achieve, because important decisions come up because you're not in the status quo, or you're trying to move away from the status quo. So whatever is the most immediate way to get there, that's the option that we end up choosing. And it can be a good thing sometimes when it's like technical stuff, or when it's like a problem that has to be very quickly solved and it's like an emergency sort of problem. Then it makes sense that you want to like get the quickest solution there is, like take the quickest action. But oftentimes it's like more complicated than that, right? So I when I'm not in a state to like judge whether like what I'm gonna do is the right thing or not, or when I'm feeling like a bit anxious about whatever I'm gonna do, or like a bit too excited about what I'm gonna do, it's often like rooted from like just getting like a quick solution so that I can be peaceful mentally again. And so what I've been trying to do is have like a conversation with a friend who cares about the situation enough to be, or to have like enough context and want the same outcome as me in the ultimate sense. Like they, like if I'm gonna make an important decision, I'd hope for it to like lead to something good, right? And I want to make sure that the person I'm asking is in the same page as me, but they're not like as invested in the situation as I am, so that they see things a bit more clearly. And that often helps. And the solution often is to like give a little bit of space between the decision and like me taking it, for me to just like come back to earth if I'm too excited, or like again come back to earth if I'm a bit too anxious. And just to see, like let the clouds of anxiety or confusion or excitement clear up, so that I can see things a bit more clearly, and I can take decisions very like intentionally, to for like a very intentional outcome. And for uh, oftentimes when I make decisions, I want an intentional outcome, like a direct outcome. But in my head I would have some sort of uh, like almost like an ulterior motive to that. Okay, if this good thing happens, something else that I'm struggling with might also get solved. Might, I'm not sure about that, but that's the thing that I'm actually trying to solve, and that's the thing that I'm actually like excited about, or um, like confused about or anxious about, whatever it is. So oftentimes it's not even about the decision, but like where I'm coming from in order to take the decision. Like the decision might be the right thing to do, but I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. Not wrong, but like not the right reasons, if that makes sense. I'm being very very vague because I can't think of like any immediate like examples that I can share. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. No. Yeah, so the solution always is to like give space, and also like get my thoughts out to like a third person, for them to like to see the way that a third person who's not invested would process whatever information that I have, and like give me like their like version of the events, or their version of like what they're like looking at. That I think often helps me. But it does involve like a person that you can like actually trust, to have like a good head on their shoulders, and a person who's not like directly like invested in this situation. That often leads to the best outcome, I think. And that, I guess, is what I wanted to share. I'm still very very confused about what often the right thing to do is in a situation. But this is the way that I'm like navigating it, at least currently. So if that changes, I will make sure to let you know. And thank you for watching.